So we started the account started getting debited $3,300 a day. Here's the catcher. We started doing, what was it? We did like 200 grand the first month, so that's 7,000-ish a day. Mm-hmm. This is where it gets hairy. I didn't have a processor. So we're getting $7,000 a day in contracts that I cannot process. Mm-hmm. And the money's still coming out. Right? At the end of the month, I get one processor turned on. After calling every single favor rep, I was calling friends up like, hey, can you process contracts? I'll give you 10%, just send me the money after. And they were like, this sounds really sketchy. No. And they were right to not do that.
Yeah, you're bleeding cash.
Yeah. And so processor gets turned on at the end of the month, but they said, hey, it's a new business, so we'll give you a $50,000 limit. I was like, dude, I need 200 grand like yesterday. They're like, 50,000 is the limit. So I called the guy up and he said, well, it's per month. So, and I got it like 2 days before the end of the month. He said, so you can run 50 grand today, and in 2 days you can run 50 grand again.
Okay.
So I was like, okay. And that's what I did. I ran 50 grand, and then 2 days after I ran 50 grand, which was enough to cover the $100,000, the $3,300 a day that was coming out on the card. So I made like $100 in profit that first month. Wow. And then he got 2 more turned on, so I got up to like 180 or so, and then he doubled the 50 to 100, so we had 200,000 in limit the next month. So we hit the full 200 the next month, but we're still billing from shit from last month while still making and still playing catch up. But we made like a little bit of profit that month, so I was like, okay, I think I'm in the clear. I think we might have, but wait, there's more. And so now we're going into March. So this is January is the first full month. January's first month. February is when we're playing catch up on processing. March comes, and I just wrote the story out in my book, so all the details are fresh. We get the call. Layla comes up to me. I'm like thinking life is good. I think we're out of everything, and she's like white, and I was like, what's going on? And she turned her laptop to me, and there was just scrolls of negative transactions on our account. And I was like, what am I looking at? She was like, these are all refunds. I was like, again? How? We already did all the refunds from that gym. Like they can't refund again. Like we already gave because I thought it was from the gym from like way back that I had to shut down. She was like, no, one of the gym owners that we launched got up on his chair and told everyone to refund. He just said, go home, I can't deal with all this. Because we had taken his gym from 70 to 270 clients in a month. It was just the amount of infrastructure that's required to handle that, which I hadn't thought through. I was like, you want A+ sales and marketing? We will sell your gym. We'll blow your gym up. Yeah. And so that's what we did. And then he refunded everything. Yeah. Oh. And
unbelievable.
So that just blew all the profit from the month before. And that was horrible. But then I was like, okay, one-off circumstance, happens, not a big deal. Like we'll get through it. We'll just do more launches. It's fine. 2 weeks later, she comes back again and she's like, it's happening again. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, the refund thing. I was like, he can't refund. Like no one can refund. Like we already gave all the money back. What do they want? And she said, no, 2 gyms told the client to refund and then buy the same services from them for half price since we had left after selling. So it's like someone comes in, we sell them a membership, the way we did it, we do a 6-week program for like $500 or $600. They would pay for it. We'd keep that money for the marketing, sales, hotel, rental car, everything, ad spend, commissions. That's what we'd keep, and whatever was left was the profit, right? After that gym got all those customers for free to convert.
Yeah,
so it's like you got
value.
you got really high qualified customers because these aren't trial customers. They're paying $600 to be there. So like they care, they'll show up, they'll follow instructions, and you should, if you're doing it right, convert 70% on the back end. So like you just got to wait. You got to provide fulfillment for 6 weeks, and most gyms have fixed costs, not a lot of variable costs, and so they didn't really need to staff up that much, not a ton, right, to handle that. And so these guys were just like, what would be cooler is if we just told them all to refund and then we got half the money,
right?
And then that gives them a reason, and
slightly unethical.
Yeah, and they had the relationship with the clients. I didn't, but I held the bag for the processing. So, anyways, they did that, and that's when we had 150,000 in refunds, and again I had no money.
Wow. And
so it was like this impossible situation where I looked at Layla and I was like, okay, if you fly out and I fly out, we can both do 100,000, and we can make sure the gyms don't do anything stupid, and we can cover the 150. And I just remember this other thing that she said to me, which was she was like, Alex, like, we can't sell our way out of this. Like, if we do that, we're just going to create more, like, there's going to be more refunds. Like, the amount of refunds is just going to keep going up. And so I really didn't know what to do. And so at that point, she had this little side business because she still wasn't sure how things were going to work out. So she was doing like $3,000 or $4,000 a month from all her personal training clients that she had transitioned to online. And as I'm trying to like think of every possible idea under the sun, including like me being a prostitute, didn't matter. I just was like, whatever I can make to get 150 grand. Yeah, but it wasn't even 150 grand in revenue. It'd be 150 grand in profit that I had to come up with. Otherwise, her friends weren't going to get paid, right? And so you can feel the stress. And so I sit her down. I was like, wait, so $3,000 or $4,000 a month. I was like, what's your cost in that? She was like, nothing. I was like, okay. What if we blow your business up? Forget my business. Clearly, I suck. It's like, what if we just blow you up? She's like, really? I was like, yeah. And so she said yes. And I pretty much every waking moment after that writing the best sales copy of my entire life, writing an amazing ad campaign, and launched everything within like 48 hours. And then within a few days, we were doing $1,000 a day of just her selling over the phone with no fulfillment. It was just like online programs for her weight loss program. And I was like, this could work. Because if I get the 8 sales guys that we had at the time to come not have to travel anymore, they'd all do $1,000 a day. We do 8,000 a day. After commissions, we'd have about 150 grand.
Yeah, without the overhead and all that.
Right, yeah, exactly. And I was like, and no gym owners, no one's gonna refund because no one's telling them to refund. And so that was the plan. And so I told her the plan, she was good with it. And so we had 8 gyms that were supposed to launch the next month. So I called those guys up and I was like, hey, we're not doing it anymore. Change the direction, whatever. Yeah. And the first guy tells me this long story about how his friend had referred him and that we had saved his friend's gym and how he was going to lose his house and that he had refinanced everything. He'd maxed out all of his cards. He'd quit his job, spent 2 years not making any money for the gym, and that he needed this.
Sob story. Okay.
Yeah. And I said, cool, not really my problem. Because like everything that happened to this point, I was like, my level of give a fuck was very low. And so I said, sorry, man. And he's like, can you at least show me what you did at my friend's place and I'll just try and do it myself. Right. And at this point I needed money, right? And so I was like, maybe. But I also didn't want to go create this whole thing because I knew the value of focus. I'd learned that lesson at this point. And so I said, fine, I'll show you how to do it, but I'm not going to fly out there to save your ass if you can't sell. And he said, no, that's fine, it's fine. And so he said, how much? And at the time, I picked the highest number I could possibly think of because I thought I wanted him to say no so I could move on with my life.
Yeah, what's your IP worth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I said, $6,000. Now, mind you, this system was doing $100,000 in every single gym we launched in a month. And he's like, deal. And I still remember, I looked at the phone and I was like, holy shit. I can't. And then I just was like, cool, what card do you want to use? And I wrote it down on a napkin and finished the phone call. I went over to Layla and I was like, holy shit. I was like, this guy just paid $6,000 for like all of our like sales scripts and all the stuff.
Yeah. How soon did you realize you'd left a ton of money on the table?
Well, this was the moment. And so I was like, I think there's something here. And so I went and called the rest of the guys that were supposed to launch the next month. There were 7 more guys. And next guy, how much? 8 grand. Next guy, how much? 10 grand. Next guy, and then I did $60,000 in sales that day.
Yeah, you're seeing how elastic it was.
Yeah.
And
and I saw 60 grand in one day, and it was a day that changed my life. Yeah. And so that's when I was like, I think we're still in the gym business. I think we're just doing it wrong. And she's like, so we're not doing the weight loss thing? I was like, I guess not. I think we're going to do this. She's like, well, how are we going to get new customers? I was like, well, we don't need to worry about that yet because I'm going to call the 30-something other gyms that we did the launches for and be like, hey, remember how I filled your gym up? Want to see how I did it? And within the next month, I think I did I don't remember the cash collected. I think we collected $200,000 in cash, but we ended up doing like $400,000 or $500,000 in sales.
I mean, we were just sitting back, chopping it up, reminiscing about the good old days and all that. Tracking my roots, where I came from and where I'm going. But like I say, man, always said it. It's not about the destination. It's all about the journey. Ain't nothing changed but the weather. The dangling carrot, it hang from the rear view. Your dreams in the past ain't nowhere near you. Backseat drivers got nothing but 2 cents. Shotgun riders too biased, they all liars. I should get an A for effort, I'm too tired. But I'm never giving up, that's why I'm kinda admired. Role model, like it or not, I gotta play it. Sugarcoat the rhyme sometimes, but still say it. Said I was quitting at 40 is just a fit.